What's up, everybody? Baby Huey here, and joining me once again is my tag team partner, Tim, from Pro Wrestling Unlimited. How's it going, man?
Well, other than my upstairs AC not wanting to kick on right now, like downstairs feels cold. Walk upstairs, as soon as you hit the top of the stairs, oh, I can feel it. And
really?
And it's like 82 degrees right now at almost 8 o'clock at night. So, but I'm all good. Other than that, doing good.
Oh, wow. Well, stay cool, as they say. But
well, it's supposed to cool down the next couple of days. So we're supposed to get some storms coming in.
Oh man, and that's right. You're in Oklahoma now, so your experience. I got to talk to my coworker. My coworker Chasta, she's from Oklahoma, Sulphur to be exact. And it definitely. That's one thing she does not miss about living in Oklahoma is the humidity out there. So
see. I kind of got used to it because it's similar to Texas, and I lived in Texas for almost 4 years.
That's right.
I was in the Army, so kind of similar.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, and now let's see, we are third week into April, so we're about a full month into the spring season. So we still got a couple months till summer comes. But this would be your first summer in Oklahoma. So I'm curious.
I got here last year in June.
Oh, that's right.
End of June.
Really? It's almost been a year already?
Yeah, I know, crazy.
Oh my God, man, time really has been flying by. I mean,
I know, like we had one day like a week and a half ago where it was like 80, and then the next day it was like 52.
Wow.
Yeah, it super fluctuates.
Have you had any tornado warnings or?
Oh yeah, we've had to run and hide in the closet a couple times.
Oh my God. Oh,
woke us up. Was it about a month ago now? At 6:30 in the morning, the tornado sirens were going off. My phone's over here.
Oh no! Oh my God, man!
It hit our town, but it was the other side of town, not where we're at. But a couple of houses lost their roofs and whatnot. It wasn't as bad as it could have been because it was a pretty good sized tornado.
Yeah.
A couple of houses lost their roofs and whatnot, and nothing it could have been a lot worse.
Interesting, man. So you left California with earthquakes and you got tornadoes now.
So literally my daughter said yesterday, you know what's different about here than California at school? I said, what? In California, we do earthquake drills. Here we do tornado drills. We don't do the others. It's the opposite.
Wow, man. Well, hey, at least she's prepared for any situation now. Any Mother Nature.
The other difference is in California, especially where we were in California, Central California, they would do fire drills as well. They don't do those here.
Oh, that's right. Forgot about that too. Yeah, Central California, man. Well, hey, at least your kids are prepared, man. I would not know what to do in a tornado situation.
I've just been told get away from windows, and if you got a closet you can jump into a closet.
Interesting. Okay, good to know. So,
and then go to the lowest floor of the house possible. Don't be upstairs.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, you don't want to be like Wizard of Oz flying around. So, so here we are back at it. This is gonna be our night 2 review for WrestleMania 41. So last night we did WrestleMania 41 night 1. So that's out now, and we're gonna talk about the highlights from all the matches from night 2 of WrestleMania that was over in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. Man, Tim, it's so interesting for a WrestleMania where, there were some good matches, some okay matches, but the dialogue coming out of WrestleMania, just like some of these outcomes and finishes, it's so interesting. People are still talking about it. Here we are, midweek now. And it's, I feel like there's pros and cons. It's like, sure, you can have a phenomenal match inside the ring, but if you have some sort of dramatic issue or decisive ending to a match, it almost seems like that might be better because you get some buzz. There's no such thing as bad publicity. I guess that's what I'm getting at here.
Right.
It's fascinating how many people are sounding off what happened on night 1 of WrestleMania and night 2, especially night 2, which we'll get into the main event here. But for you, I'm trying to think, last year was an amazing WrestleMania. I thought WrestleMania 40, Cody Rhodes finished his story. People were so happy and stuff, and then excited to see what happens next. Now I feel like what are your thoughts on just all this drama coming out? I'm guessing it's still a good thing at the end of the day.
Are we talking about Rock on McAfee today? That's where it's all coming from. Rock exposed the business way too much.
Yes, well, we'll get into that. Talking about this main event here. So, all right, let's just jump right into it. I know you people are tuning in right now. Just let's talk about the matches here. So, like I said, This episode is just all about night two. I know we're doing this after Raw After Mania. What happened there? A lot happened on Raw After Mania, so I want to do a dedicated episode there
Mm.
because so much happened there. And then also a lot of clickbait related news. I know AAA got acquired by WWE. Want to talk about that. And of course, The Rock and Pat McAfee, all that stuff. Like, there's a lot to get into. So we're going to spread this out over different episodes so you guys can pick and choose what do you want to listen to, all that good stuff. So let's talk about night two of WrestleMania. And there's my brother in the background walking by. So, but yeah, let's talk about night two of WrestleMania. I'll say this, Tim, just, let's start big here once again, work our way down. I thought night two was so much better outside of the terrible main event, but I would say like the first 2/3 of the show was very entertaining, some great surprises, and I just was more engaged, I guess, maybe because Saturday I was like trying to do work and watch the show, so I was a little bit distracted. Night two, I was a little more focused watching the show, and with that, there was a lot of big moments there. So I just felt overall it was a more enjoyable, watchable show. Just kind of your takeaways from night two.
So with you saying, the first 2/3 of night two was the good part, and you're not wrong there, because you can tell halfway through that AJ Logan Paul match is when the crowd started getting tired.
Yes.
And it was like, oh, okay. You could tell that this crowd either is just getting tired or they're losing interest in this match. And then when that Jeff guy comes out, they really like, so Brian Alvarez talked about it. He was like, when that Jeff guy came out, there were so many people sitting around him going, who's that guy and what's he doing?
Yeah.
Like people didn't know what was going on. And you don't have commentary to tell you, that's Jeff Logan Paul's buddy. He's got the brass knucks. You don't know. And if you're sitting all the way up back there, you don't see this guy with brass knucks. You just see this guy that AJ Styles and Karrion Kross start yelling at.
Yeah. And that's the thing. He's crawling on the, under the ring or alongside the ring, the apron there. So yeah, if you're on the other side of the stadium, like fourth deck, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, if you're over on stage side, you can't even see him unless you're watching the screens.
Exactly.
Wait, that's how I watched most of Mania when I was at 31 at Levi's because I was so far up. But I still won't regret it. I wouldn't regret it. But
well, no, same thing. When you're in the press box, let's be real. You're up in the press box.
Right.
You're up high. Like, sure, it's cool. You got a free ticket ultimately, but you're in the press box, so you're like up high. So a lot of things do look like ants from up there. So it's a catch-22. It's like, free ticket to WrestleMania, but you're up in the press box, so it's a really high view. So you're still kind of squinting, or you're still looking up at the TVs in the press box too to kind of see what's going on specifically. It just reminds me, WrestleMania 38, Dallas, Dallas, Texas, that one. At the time, this was the old regime for WWE. Your press credential, it said you had floor access. And so Brian Tronick and we jumped in the elevator, went down all the way to the bottom, walked out. We saw the piece of paper on the wall. It said that credential was okay. So we just flashed at the security, went right on the floor, and we just found open seats as close as we could to the ring. And I'm so glad we did because Brian loves Charlotte Flair, so he got to see Charlotte and Becky go at it that one. And then for me, I love Stone Cold Steve Austin. I never got to see Stone Cold wrestle in person, so I was pretty damn close. And Brian and I landed on TV that cut to a camera shot of this kid on his mom's shoulders, or he was hugging his mom, and Brian and I are right behind her. So it was awesome. Like, hey, we made it on the broadcast. So that's because we just walked down there. But now I think it's a little bit different. Since I didn't go this year, I don't know if it's changed much, but I know like last year, everyone stayed in the press box. So that's the catch-22. It's like, I wonder, it goes down closer.
That year, did they have a post-show press conference?
No.
Because it could be, and this is just me speculating, maybe everyone stayed in the press box, so that way when there was time to go to the post-show press conference, they can get in there because it's limited seating.
Well, okay, so
I know they also relegate who can go in and who can't.
Exactly. So last year, for example, the credential, or the last couple years, the credential, if you had like a yellow stripe, you got to go to the press conference. You had a green stripe, you had to stay in the press box. And so with that being said, right before the main event starts, everyone going to the press conference has to gather, meet up, go in the elevator, and they go stand. You've probably seen videos on social media. Members of the press, they're like standing by the ramp, the entranceway on the floor. And then when the main event is done, that's when they immediately take them to the back. Okay. So during the main event, they're all watching it on the floor, at least last couple years. I don't know if it's different this year, but nonetheless, So it's like during the main event, a lot of people are leaving the press box to get ready to be ready to go into the conference room, if you
Right.
want to call it that, for the press conference. So yeah, it's interesting though. So really, like night one of WrestleMania, as we mentioned last episode, a lot of heels won, not too many surprises. A lot of people thought maybe just kind of average. I want to say going through the motions, but just nothing too like over the top, like, oh my God moments. But however, great main event.
Yeah.
Night two, I think definitely the pacing was picked up. It's just more energy. It for the most part, it was just a lot of big, cool moments. People got excited. However, the main event was lackluster. So it's almost like,
Flipped.
yeah, you could you like took the main event from night one, put it on night two, and then night two, you can argue was like a great night overall from beginning to end. But anyway, you know, that's what happens now when you have two nights for WrestleMania. You have 14 matches to spread out over 2 nights.
So, are you a Boy Meets World fan at all?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay. Do you listen to their Rewind podcast with Daniel Fisher, Will Friedle, and Ryder Strong?
No, but I thought they interviewed Bailey, right? Was it Bailey?
So they did a whole WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, I saw they were down there. Yeah.
So Danielle Fishel is getting her own Major Bendy's figure. She's gonna have, yeah, she'll have. They're coming out with like, a Danhausen line,
like an old school, like.
Well, it's the major podcast, their line of figures.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
Like
okay.
Zack Ryder, or not Zack Ryder. You know what I'm talking about though.
Brian Myers,
and Matt Cardona. Yeah. So they're coming out with I think it's a 3-figure Danhausen line. So it's called Danielle Hausen, where her figure, she's got Danhausen makeup on.
What? Oh, that's cool.
And so she was there to help announce that. And then they interviewed a bunch of WWE wrestlers. And then Will Friedle, who played, so she's Topanga. Will Friedle, who played Eric,
the older brother,
and Ryder Strong, who played Sean, plus Ryder Strong's son, and then I think like Danielle Fishel's husband, who used to be a writer for WWE in 2005. All went to Mania Night 1, and they reviewed it on their podcast. And Ryder Strong, who has never been to a wrestling show before, well, I take that back. He's not been to a wrestling show since they filmed that episode of Boy Meets World with Jake the Snake and Vader.
Nice.
And
okay.
If you want the perspective of a non-fan, I recommend highly, highly listening to this episode of their podcast, because he was like, the one thing that I wish they would have done more, and this is what regular wrestling fans don't like. He said, I wish the video packages between the matches told me a little more so I can understand what I'm watching.
Interesting. Okay. Valid point, because if he doesn't watch week to week, when he shows up to this show, he wants to know why these two guys or gals are wrestling each other. Very interesting.
A couple other things he said. So Will Friedle, he was at the Raw Netflix debut with Danielle Fisher. We saw them on screen. So he went to that show, loved it, and was all hyped for going to Mania.
Okay.
And so like he was able, he's like, Danielle, hold on. We're talking about this Jade Naomi match. Tell me if I figured the story out correctly. And from the video package they showed, he knew the entire story perfectly. She's like, yeah, that video package worked for you. Now, they all loved Jade, thought Jade looked like the best superstar of the night.
Yeah.
But Ryder Strong said, who's that Jacob guy? And they're like, oh, Jacob Fatu, he's kind of newer to WWE. He's all, that's a guy that I could see doing movies, because he just has this charisma and this thing about him where I could see him like as an actor going out there and doing things. He's like, did that guy snarl at us?
That's the thing.
Jade and Jacob were his standouts. They didn't like the opening match with Jey Uso and Gunther. And again, this is a non-wrestling fan perspective.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so it's very interesting to listen to. Highly recommend. You can find it on their, I think they're an iHeartRadio podcast. So of course it's on iHeartRadio. Yeah. And then I can't remember where else you could find it. Maybe like Apple Pod or something.
Yeah, just do. Okay, I will definitely check that out. I'm very
highly
curious.
recommend. They didn't review night 2. I don't know if they went to night 2 or not, but they have a night 1 review.
Well, that's the thing too. Keep in mind, like WrestleMania is obviously the biggest show of the year for wrestling, for WWE. And I think for them, they know a lot of casual fans or people who maybe was a fan back in the day, but hasn't kept track or tune in on a regular basis. So maybe they're just curious and want to tune in. It's very tough. I think WWE, they're in a situation where I think they want to appeal to as many people as they can. And so they want to please the hardcore fans, the people that tune in every single week and watch everything that WWE produces and puts out there online. And at the same time, they got to appeal to the casual person who might be tuning in for the first time
Mhm.
For
Especially
example,
at a Mania.
yeah, my coworker. I have a coworker over at KMBR, Marcus. He's one of the morning show hosts. He watches WrestleMania every year, but that's it. That's all he ever watches from WWE. He knows it's the biggest show of the year, and there might be some big moments that might be worth talking about the following week when he goes back to work on, doing sports talk radio. So he tunes in, and so yeah, there's a lot of things he doesn't know about completely, but yes, he relies on those video packages to kind of catch him up, like the cliff notes of what's happening in this feud. How do we get here to this match specifically? So that's the thing with WWE. Like you're trying to cast this big net and capture as many people at one time. So yeah, that's why sometimes they're not going to do like these over the top banger matches, because if it gets too like intense or what's the word I'm trying to think? Like, oh my God, super technical or something. The casual person will be like, oh, like, maybe it's not as appealing to them. They want more big high spots or something. You get what I'm saying there?
Both Ryder Strong and Will Friedle said that they liked the women better because they felt like they were more athletic. So and they loved Charlotte. And they loved Charlotte and Tiffany because of their gymnastic stuff and all that.
Yeah,
that appealed to the non-fan.
And that's interesting because a lot of hardcore fans were bagging on the Tiffany and Charlotte match. So I could totally see that, like the casual person be like, oh, that's cool. So that's the thing. Like for me, even like just comparing to what I do working in rock radio, it's like they keep telling you play the hits, whatever format station you work at, play the hits versus, oh man, like we've heard these songs so many times. I want to play a little more deep cuts. Like we play AC/DC all the time, but everyone wants to hear, we always keep it safe and play Back in Black or Highway to Hell or You Shook Me All Night Long. But then again, I'm a hardcore AC/DC fan. Of course, I would love to hear If You Want Blood, You Got It. But that's a little bit of a deeper cut. And, maybe the hardcore fans will love it. Yeah. But then the more casual fan will be like, I'm not a fan of that song. That's not as catchy to me as one of the bigger hits. So it's tough. Like for WWE, how they put their shows together, they're trying to appeal as many people. And I'm sure there might be a lot of families in attendance. Maybe the kids watch it, but the parents don't. So you got to make it pleasing to the parents who are tuning in or attending for the first time. And yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. And I think that's one thing people need to keep in mind, like who criticize WWE. Oh, I don't like this. They do this or that. They're trying to appeal to as many people as they can. And that's always been their MO for decades. It's like appealing to more just families and kids. And it's tough. Like even like you're trying to appeal to like a 10-year-old kid, but also entertain me, a 41-year-old wrestling fan. It's tough to please everyone. So you do the best you can. And so like I said, like this show had some good moments. And so that's the thing with WrestleMania. It's their big like, well, I know for them, they kind of treat it more like a season finale because I think a lot of big storylines come to an end. The
joke has been this weekend, Mania is our season finale, but our off season's only about 12 hours and then we're back on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Raw after Mania.
That's been like the Michael Cole, Triple H joke over the last couple of days.
Yeah. I mean, Raw after Mania is the kickoff of the next season.
Yeah.
So you're right, though. Like this WrestleMania or every WrestleMania, they know people are tuning in and they'll hook people in that want to keep watching moving forward. So if you're a casual person who tunes in once a year or a couple times a year, if you watch WrestleMania, hopefully they do something that hooks you in, that wants to keep tuning in for the next year, throughout the next year, for the next WrestleMania, and just be a longtime fan after that, making new longtime fans. It's tough. It's a tough industry. Just any type of entertainment where you're trying to get as many people in to care about your product. So I will definitely check out that podcast. That's all I'm getting at.
One other thing that I think you would like being in like radio and production and stuff that Ryder Strong brought up, he goes, being there live, it really made me think that we may have, I'm paraphrasing here. He basically said when they filmed that episode of Boy Meets World where they were in the arena with the Jake the Snake and Vader match, he's like, we made them do a second take and do it twice. And so the people in attendance had to sit there and watch it again.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's probably why those wrestlers were upset and mad at us. Or something like that. And they go, that's like if we were filming an episode of Boy Meets World and the Family Matters people came in and said, oh, we didn't get that right for the cut that we need. Let's do it again. So because they literally made them redo the match apparently because they didn't get a camera angle or something.
Yeah.
They missed it, and so they made Jake and Vader go out there and do it again.
Yep, I get it. I totally get it. And that's one thing, you gotta give credit to wrestlers. They only have one shot to do their performance.
Yeah, and that's what he was saying. He's like, they really can't mess it up, but we made them redo it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, I think it was Sylvester Stallone when he was doing what movie was it? Over the Top, the one with like Terry Funk was in it and a bunch of other wrestlers.
Oh yeah.
And I think some actors or actresses were kind of making fun of like, oh, why are we having using wrestlers in this movie? And Stallone stood up for the wrestlers, said these are some of the best actors or actresses you can work with because they're used to performing and doing everything in one take live. So these are the best people you can work with. So I always give kudos to Sylvester Stallone for standing up for wrestlers in the wrestling industry. So, and that was nearly 40 years ago at this point.
Right.
So with that though, let's talk about this opener here. So for the WWE Women's Championship, Io Sky defending against Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, triple threat match. Maybe outside the main event from night one, you could argue this was the best match of the weekend.
Yeah. Like if someone told me this was better than the Seth Rollins CM Punk Roman match, I couldn't argue against them.
No,
because they were so for me even.
Yes, I mean this match was action packed, very fast paced, a little chaotic, but in a good way because it was all just everyone's getting their offense in, switching it up, and there was not a lot of downtime in this match, if at all. So
they had
so much
15 minutes and crammed a lot into it, and it didn't feel like you could tell they were doing a lot, but it didn't feel like, oh, we're rushing anything.
Absolutely. I love this match and obviously a shocker with the finish, but I was so happy. Like I need to start doing live streams with watching along with the PLE. My reaction here in my home office, I was like, yes, like I was super happy.
Well, we'll say it later, but I almost threw my chair from when Joe Hendry came out.
Nice. Okay. All right. So the finish here, we saw Io Sky go for a Meteora, and but Rhea Ripley kicked her in the head. Io countered for an avalanche riptide and went for a moonsault. Rhea Ripley got up to her feet, and then Io stumbled into Bianca Belair for a KOD, and then Rhea Ripley broke up that cover, and the crowd's just going crazy at this point. It was just really awesome stuff. And then Bianca started pushing Rhea Ripley's face while taunting her, and then Rhea Ripley shoved her off the top rope a few moments later, and then Io Sky tried an avalanche poison Rana, and Rhea Ripley yanked her around and posted her. Bianca and Rhea had an exchange until Bianca slipped out of the riptide and smacked Ripley with her braid. That's those smacking braids. It's painful every single time.
They're real whips. You're not faking any of that.
Yeah, I was like, how they do that? Because this match and then Elimination Chamber, Liv Morgan got it. The nastiest one to this day is probably when Bianca did it to Sasha Banks a few years ago at WrestleMania, and because that one left a big old welt on her stomach. Let's see, Bianca had Ripley pinned, but Io Sky hit a moonsault to break up that pin and then cover Bianca Belair for the win. Io Sky wins, even though she was the champion going in this match. I think a lot of people thought she was the underdog here. Just the way she was presented, like no respect on Raw these last few weeks. It was all about Rhea versus Bianca getting each other's faces and pushing Io to the side. But this match here, I love this finish. I'm super happy for Io Sky. She won. She retained her championship, and I'm super happy for her. And the crowd was super into it as well. Her parents were ringside, super happy as well. I love this. So yeah, Tim, your thoughts on this finish and the results here?
But I love the story of this match as far as I wasn't a big fan of all the bickering between Bianca and Rhea, but I love the story of Io's being overlooked even though she's the champion, and now she needs to go out there and prove herself, and she did it.
Yes,
I did like that aspect of it. Now, I didn't like that there was the exact same finish that we got later in the four-way for the IC title, but that's a different thing. The producers not talking to each other and figuring out their finishes, but it's a nitpick. Other than that, though, I thought, I don't know if you'd agree, greatest women's match I've ever seen in a WrestleMania.
It's in the conversation, hands down. I mean, maybe Rhea and Charlotte from a couple years ago in LA, that's up there. Is there a Becky Bianca Dallas 3 years ago? That was really good.
And then the Charlotte Sasha Becky from 32, the triple threat.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, the triple threat. Yeah, no, all three totally. I'm just trying to think outside of that.
Yeah.
Oh, Sasha and Bianca. I mean, that's another great one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one too in Tampa a few years ago. So yeah, no, it's yeah, you're right. Hands down, this is definitely the conversation of the greatest women's match at WrestleMania. And for me, it was interesting though. Did you notice on commentary? Because like going in, like I was listening to other podcasts and people conversating, talking about WrestleMania, and they all kept bringing it up. Bianca Belair has this undefeated streak going into WrestleMania.
Right.
She's undefeated at WrestleMania, but the commentators on this show said she's 4-1. They counted the Battle Royal as a loss.
Oh, okay.
So they really kind of try to downplay. No, she's not undefeated. Like, don't go with that narrative anymore.
You think that was a conscious decision by the company that, hey, we're not trying to start a streak here,
like an Undertaker type streak? I think so, and that's why it's so interesting. Bianca got pinned here. Io, after she did the moonsault on Bianca, Bianca took the pin here, so that was amazing. Well, as far as for Io's credit.
Not to get too far ahead, but I think it's going to be Io Rhea getting Rhea up and going for the title.
Yes, and then I think now you spend the next year doing a proper build of Rhea versus Bianca for a main event spot next year WrestleMania. That's the money match people want to see.
The original plan for this year.
Yes, exactly. But for whatever reason, they didn't get into it.
Yeah.
They didn't have enough time to build up to it. I get it. Jade and Naomi's story overlapped with Bianca. So maybe that's why they put it off, because they want to finish that story. And then it bled over into the Elimination Chamber match. So spend the next year now building up to that. Io Sky, though, I hope she has a great long title reign for her and puts on more great matches. Kairi Sane was, tearing up backstage, very happy for her friend to win. I hope Asuka comes back soon and, mix it up there. Let me ask you this. Bianca Belair, she was getting booed when they were over in Europe, and even still, she was still getting kind of booed everywhere she's been going with this build. Oh, now, granted, she's up against Rhea Ripley. Everyone loves Rhea Ripley, so just by default, people are booing her. Do you think Bianca, who was on Raw this week, so we could talk about this more openly here,
right? Do
you think Bianca is due for a heel turn?
Oh, I do. I think it's been, she's been on the main roster 4 years now, maybe something like that. Yeah, as a babyface the entire time.
Yep.
So I think eventually she needs to turn. Whether they put her with the Street Profits or not, I don't care. But if she can go heel, do her thing, heck, maybe they even do a thing where her and Naomi team up, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm in agreement now. I've seen what Naomi's been saying, and I agree. Jay, you were mooching off of me or something."
Yeah, that's the thing. Is Bianca? To her credit, she's been dominating for years now since she's been on the main roster. She's been a multi-champion. She's picked up a lot of big victories. And so with that, you worry, I think fans can worry that the presentation could get a little stale and it could be like Super Cena-esque there. And so to keep things fresh, it might be good for a little bit of a character change. Go heel, and that way you change the dynamic up. And honestly, right now, there's a lot of baby faces as far as the main event scene for the women's division on Raw, and I guess SmackDown too. Not jumping ahead, we saw a heel turn on Monday Night Raw for the women's division, so that's a big name for the main event scene, which we'll save that later. But nonetheless, if Bianca goes heel, then I think that would be helpful for, I think even for the build for her versus Rhea, if you want to tell this year-long story for next year's WrestleMania. Rhea can go in as the babyface next year. Bianca Belair can go in as the heel next year and really tell a good, dynamic, fun story between the two of them. So that's just me a little predicting what could happen for the next 12 months now.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, love this match, and yeah, super happy for Io Sky. So, cannot wait to see what's next for her. And shout out to her. She had a great match on Raw this week with Stephanie Vaquer, the women's NXT champion. So, all right, match number 2, Drew McIntyre taking on Damian Priest in a Sin City street fight. Dude, low key, you could say this probably one of the best. This was one of the best builds for WrestleMania this year between the two of them. The story here is Drew McIntyre's pissed at Damian Priest because he said over the last year, every time Drew McIntyre failed in some capacity, Damian Priest was there like a vulture to swoop in and capitalize on Drew's failures. And you're like, wow, you connect the dots and like that's some really good long-term storytelling here between the two of them. So set up the Sin City Street fight. This match was a lot of fun. I do want to shout out Kerry King of Slayer, played out Damian Priest to the ring. I love Slayer, one of my all-time favorite bands. I actually saw Kerry King with his solo band play a couple months ago here in the Bay Area. So it's just cool to see Kerry King, thrash metal guitar legend, play in front of a huge crowd. And I know he's a huge Raiders fan. So to play at the home of the Las Vegas Raiders,
that's cool.
So I'm sure he was very happy for that. And it was cool him seeing play. There's I think they mentioned in commentary, but Slayer is doing like one big Northeast show later on this year, and Damian Priest is going to host that big like concert / festival.
They plugged a few dates for him, I want to say.
Okay, cool. So he's going to do more than one with Slayer?
If I'm remembering correctly, but I know because they said something and they were like, and one of those, Damian Priest will be hosting the event or something like that.
Perfect. Yeah. No, I think that's going to be awesome. So very happy for Damian Priest. But yeah, this match itself, chaotic, great table spots here. This was a fun match, and very happy to see Drew pick up the victory here. But yeah, your thoughts on how this Sin City Street fight played out in front of everyone?
So I have a friend that went to Mania, but then also watched it again when he went home. And he said this match actually came off differently watching on TV than watching in the building because of the table spots. Because when they set those two tables up on the outside for Priest to fall through when he fell off the top rope, they were set up in a way where they were set up so early that he believes they wanted you to forget they were there. So when Priest falls and goes through the tables, boom, you forget about it. And it's like, oh, what the heck? That was crazy.
Yeah.
But on commentary, Pat keeps telling you, hey, don't forget there's some tables set up at ringside.
Yes.
So he said it actually came off, for him at least, differently watching it at home compared to watching it there live. Because that aspect of, he got the surprise, I forgot the tables were set up there, to, oh, Pat kept telling me like 3 times, don't forget about these tables.
Yes, I'm glad you brought up that detail, because Pat kept bringing up those the table spot, or the table set up there from the commentary booth there. But that's the thing, is a lot of times in street fights, at least in WWE or any promotion, early on, you always see the wrestlers put up tables, and then they kind of like on one side of the ring or on the ramp or something, and then they go off and wrestle on the other side of the ring, get back in the ring. And like I said, that's early in the match when those get set up, and that's done on purpose. So you do, over the next like 10 minutes, you forget about those. So when you do go back, that's part of the finish there. Another great case in point, Chelsea Green, Money in the Bank, was it last year when she fell off the ladder and it was like a double-decker of tables stacked on each other. That was a big moment, but they stacked those tables, I think, earlier in the match, obviously. So when Chelsea fell, you're like, oh my God, she's falling out the ring. On top of that, falling on a bunch of tables. So you're right. I'm sure for people in person, they set those tables up, and then they got distracted with the rest of the match, how it played out. And so when that big spot happened, it was more impactful. Like, oh my God, what a surprise. So this match here, I love it, as far as, the turning point there was like when Damian Priest hit Drew McIntyre with the Razor's Edge through the table for a near fall. McIntyre fall with the Future Shock DDT on the steel steps in the ring. I was like, oh, that spot, every time Drew does it, I feel like he takes more of the impact.
That's what I say. You hear the thud when he takes that bump on it.
So then let's see. After that, Damian Priest, we saw him try to do the Undertaker rope walk. Drew shoved him. That's when he fell on the outside through those tables that they set up earlier. This finish, I love this finish. Drew brought Damian Priest back into the ring, put the let's see, placed Damian Priest's head against a chair that was wedged between the ropes in the corner, and then Drew came running in for Claymore into Priest's head, and that's how he picked up the pinfall there. I love that spot. It looked so like just badass and intense, and there's no way Damian Priest was going to recover after the table spot and that vicious Claymore. So awesome spot. Drew McIntyre picks up the win. Now, you think Drew McIntyre is destined for a main event push now, you would think, right? That's
what I was thinking. Like, this match was built in a way where, not everybody may see Damian Priest as a main eventer, even though he was former world champion.
Yeah.
But the way this match was built, it's like, oh, these are like 2 of the top guys on SmackDown, and the winner's gonna get some sort of like big reward coming out of this. But it's like, okay, the SmackDown champion's John Cena, though. He's working with Randy Orton. Do we get a draft? Drew goes to Raw and challenges Jay?
That makes more sense, even though Drew just left Raw a year ago and he's been on Raw for a while. So like SmackDown.
Or do we do a draft and switch the world champions? We've seen that before too. So Jay goes to SmackDown, Cena comes to Raw.
You know what? That's probably going to happen because Raw on Netflix, let's be real, that is the A show because of the Netflix deal, the TV deal. And I'm sure they want the A champion, the real champion on Monday Night Raw. So yes, I could totally see that. And plus, how many times that's always been kind of like a fun moment in previous drafts where it's a shocker, like one world champion gets traded or drafted to the other show, and it's a big switch. Like, what was it? Cena, Triple H years ago, like one got switched to the other show and vice versa. So I'm with you. I really do think, and that's going to happen as far as John Cena will get drafted to Monday Night Raw, and that's how the WWE Championship Undisputed title gets moved to Monday Night Raw, will be featured on Netflix. And then the World Heavyweight title, which is, I hate to say it, is the B title, the B Championship, will go to SmackDown. And then Jay will have some fresh new opponents for the main event scene there. So that's the easy way to do it.
The only thing is we don't know when the draft is coming, because Sean Ross Sapp was asked on his podcast today, hey, any update on a draft? He's like, I asked and was just told it'll come.
Yeah.
They don't have anything locked down. So it's like, will they do it soon? Will it be after Backlash? Because Backlash is only like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
4 weeks maybe. So I don't see a draft coming before Backlash.
Last year was in May, if I remember correctly. So
that would make sense because Backlash is early May.
Yeah. So, but with that being said, yeah, Drew McIntyre definitely deserved, like, this match you could say was the unofficial number one contender match for a world title shot at some point. So you're right. Now for Damian Priest though, man, ever since he went to SmackDown, he kind of lost a little bit of his aura, what made him special on Raw. Former world champion, former leader of the Judgment Day. Hopefully they can figure out some new storyline, something to kind of spice him up a bit. I feel like he's been a little just down, like not as cool. And I hate to say that. I like Damian Priest. I know he's a metalhead. I'm a metalhead. So
the other thing that I thought was interesting with this match in the build, and they never said the word, but it really felt like the story was Drew wanted to concuss Damian, especially with the way the finish was. But they would never say the word concuss or concussion.
Yeah. But
it was always like, I'm going to get your head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, totally. And well, Drew was pissed. He got a little broken glass in his eye.
True. Legit.
Oh, that was legit?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Okay. Well, I'm glad he's.
At one point, they were like, hopefully he recovers. He doesn't have to wear the eye patch during the match.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Jeez. I should check in with Drew and just say, hey, congrats, man. I haven't had a chance to send him a message yet, so I should do that.
Yeah, from what I heard, it was a legit glass in the eye.
Okay. I'll do a little investigating, see what I can find out. But next up, the Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship. We had Braun Breaker defending against Penta and Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio. Half this match was from the Judgment Day, which shout out Braun Breaker on the pre-show, or we call on that Friday, the like kickoff show for the weekend. He comes out there, does a promo, and he does his version of Breaker Math, if you want to call it that. Or, I mean, it's obviously his uncle's known for Steiner Math, legendary promo in TNA. He does his version, Breaker Math, what they're calling it. And I loved it. He did an updated version of that. So good. If you haven't seen it, it's on WWE's YouTube channel and social media. So loved it there. But this match, like I said, if I was doing a live stream, you guys would have seen me just super like getting into excited. This had a lot of great spots. I know it's 4 people. When you have like 4 people, it can get really convoluted, a lot of moving parts. But dude, this was so much fun. I thought everyone was great in their respective roles here. What'd you think of how this one played out?
Biggest babyface turn of the decade. Dominic Mysterio is now beloved. Did you watch the post show when he came out with like Testator and Big E and them?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Crowd cheered when he walked out, and then they chanted, "You deserve it," at Dom.
Oh my God. Yeah. And he said like what he said, did he say he's the greatest Mysterio of all time now? He's the greatest IC champion, and he said, I think he said, didn't he say he should be a Hall of Famer because he's like 20 years.
Well, yeah, because they're like, well, your dad's in the Hall of Fame. He's like, I can go in the Hall of Fame right now. I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yes. which actually, is legit.
Technically, he took a big break, but
Took a big break. Yes. Hey,
But-
Edge took a big break too. So
and speaking of that, it's like John Cena even said it on the Pat McAfee show. I don't know if you saw what John Cena said about Dom.
no.
He said that Dom reminds him of Randy Orton, to where when they were training early in OVW, they would be told to do things.
Mhm.
Randy would just do it and make everything look easy, and they'd all be like, "Oh, well, what the heck?" You give Dom something, and he literally can go out there and do anything you give him. He's gonna run circles around everybody and make it look effortless. That's what John Cena said about Dominic.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, good for
And then
him. Man,
he was like,
good for
he's
him.
like, I'll tell you right now, he's gonna be the most. And he didn't know that Dom has said this before. He goes, he's gonna be the most famous Mysterio ever. And Pat goes, oh, he already calls himself that. And John Cena just goes, as he should.
Wow. Okay.
And that was
Very
John
cool.
Cena, not in any I didn't feel like he was in any character or anything on the McAfee show. But he's like, I've got to work with Dom a couple times, and this kid's got it. Like everything that you need, he's got it already. Just like when Randy Orton was starting out and he was with us training at OVW, and we thought he has it already. That's Dominic.
I do want to give Dom credit. He is great to interview. Like, I feel like he definitely has like a dry sense of humor, very witty, quick on his feet.
Oh yeah.
Even with, when he's walking to the ring and he's trying to take the mask off and it got a little stuck on him, but he recovered, pulled it off. And then he said, what did he say? He's like, he didn't want, he didn't want to wear the mask. Oh, he has a beautiful face or something. If I remember correctly.
Well, did you hear what he said on the Sam Roberts post show? The post show podcast. He said, you ever see the movie The Mask? Jim
That's
Carrey.
right. That's right. Yes.
He puts on the mask and it sucks it into his face, and you can't get it off because it's got powers. Like, this match didn't want to leave my face because they wanted to give me powers, but I have too much of a beautiful face. I had to rip it off.
Yes, that's right. Yes, thank you. Yeah. That was the quote. No, it was great. But that's quick on his feet to think of that. I'm sure he anticipated someone's going to ask him about the mask, but I'm glad he had that response. And
Exactly.
Dude, that's like a near 30-year reference at this point. That mask was in the mid 90s. So I'm sure he saw it as a little kid at some point. So very cool.
No, Dom is so good. Like when a crowd starts booing him and he can't speak, just improvising, starts yelling in Spanish and all this stuff. Like, he's way better than. And now you kind of can't say it anymore. Way better than they give him credit for, because now people are seeing, okay, no, this kid's something, and he's what, 23?
Yeah, we're mid 20s now. Yeah,
He's got like 20 more years if he wants.
Totally, absolutely.
And I doubt WWE is ever going to let him go. Like, they're going to latch on to this kid.
Absolutely. And I love the spot in the match. Carlito comes out trying to help out his Judgment Day boys. And at one point, Penta settled Carlito on the table. Then Braun Breaker ran running from the other table, speared him on the table. They crashed through. That was an awesome spot right there. Just seeing Braun Breaker.
McAfee said, Braun Breaker jumped 15 feet.
I know. It's like, Jesus. And then Braun speared Penta. Then Dom hit Braun with a 619. And then Dom went for a frog splash, but Finn Balor crotched him. The crowd booed Finn. And then Finn Balor hit Braun Breaker with a sling blade, a drop kick, and a coup de grace. And then Dom broke up the cover with a frog splash on Balor. Then Dom pinned Finn Balor for the win. And you're right, the crowd popped huge for Dom Mysterio win.
Like we said about night one in Jey Uso, how Jey had the submission victory, no reaction really. But this got the 1, 2, 3, and so they saw that 3 and they go, oh, boom, pop.
You're right. And that's the thing, like that detail. Now, granted, similar finish to the women's match as far as a frog splash on the multiple people. However, you're right. You're in a huge stadium. You can clearly see Dominic Mysterio go up, huge frog splash. Everyone can see it, lands, and you see the ref 1, 2, 3. It's visually appealing to everyone. Everyone can see it. Big moment there. And you're right. Like those big moments, I think a pinfall is more useful and impactful. So I think that's just one downside. If you missed our last episode, it's just the Jey Uso victory, I think would have been more impactful if it was a pinfall, not a submission. So yeah, Dominic Mysterio, huge crowd pop for him.
Yeah, well, so I was also told of the 2 nights, that was the biggest pop of anything. Dom winning the belt. When they counted to 3 and everybody erupted, at least from where my friend was sitting.
Okay.
I don't know exactly where he was. I think he was like more like behind commentary, but then out pretty far.
Yeah.
Like he was back in that area, but he was like, from at least from where I was sitting, biggest pop reaction almost of probably of anything especially for a finish the whole weekend.
That's incredible.
Dom winning the belt.
Finn was obviously very pissed. Dom's running up the ramp, posing, and then he ran back in the ring again and did another pose. Was that like he screwed up and was supposed to stay in the ring longer?
I think he just felt the crowd and said, "I'm gonna give him another one."
Okay, all right, pose off for
again. Like you said, he's been really good at reading crowds and working off of his feet and just coming up on the fly. So I think what it was he wasn't expecting this reaction. It was like, see if I can get another one out of him.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that was great for for Dominic Mysterio. And now what happens next? We can save more of this talk with Raw after Mania, but yeah, I think this is going to lead to Finn Balor getting out of the Judgment Day at some capacity. It's going to lead to a feud between the two of them, which it's long overdue. They've been having this tension for far too long. Like, let's move on. Let's progress this story now and build or open up this crack that's already there with the Judgment Day. So we'll see how that goes. Next up, Randy Orton open challenge. As we've mentioned before, no Kevin Owens match, out with the neck surgery. And so Randy Orton came out, open challenged anyone to come out and challenge him. Sure enough, it's the TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Joe Hendry, comes out there, huge pop from the crowd. But Tim, you mentioned you were ready to throw your chair because of this.
Oh, when Joe Hendry came out, I literally was like, no fucking way. And like I jumped up and like my hand caught my chair arm and it like flew out this way.
Oh,
because I like popped, like legit. Like I marked out. I like jumped up and my arm caught my chair and it almost flung it across the room.
Nice.
But yeah, no, Joe Hendry comes out and the rumor is, I don't know, I haven't seen it confirmed.
Okay.
It was Orton's pick. Really? The other name in contention was Jeff Hardy.
Okay, I heard the Jeff Hardy. So I know Joe Hendry was on Ariel Helwani's show today.
Oh, was he today? I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'll see if I can send the clip. He and Ariel said, like, dude, how this came to be. And he said, I knew about this for a week. A week ago, he was he was at the airport. He got a text from Triple H, says, hey, can you talk? And so he called him and he told him what was going on, that we need you next week to have the match with Randy Orton. And so he was told not to tell anyone. So he's like, dude, for the next week, he had to keep this quiet and could not tell anyone that he was going to wrestle Randy Orton. So he was super excited. And I heard that too. Yeah, the report was like maybe Jeff Hardy was the other opponent. That would have been cool.
Yeah. So the thing that I heard was he found out about a week prior. That's when they also like right when I assume, because if you think about it, he must have said, yeah, I'll do it. And then that's when they announced him for WWE World and a meet and greet signing. It was like that timeline all fits in now.
Oh, so he confirmed he'll do the match. And then
so they're like, hey, we'll let you do a meet and greet at WWE World.
And it makes some extra cash.
Because now it makes sense why the lone TNA guy got to do a meet and greet there.
Yeah.
He's going to work Mania.
Gotcha. Okay. And that's why they keep him in town.
And they kept it so secret that like apparently people in TNA barely kind of got word of it the day before.
And I think he said in Ariel Helwani's interview, only 2 people knew that he was like, Ariel Helwani's like, could you tell your brother? He's like, no, I had to keep this a secret. And he said like only two people knew. So I'm guessing Triple H and Randy Orton at that point, those are the 2 people that knew.
Oh, and then maybe like the head of TNA or something.
Yeah. And then production people obviously had to find out at some point. So
yeah,
that was cool. Also, I love Randy Orton came out with the blue and yellow trunks, very old school homage to his original ring gear when he started 20 years ago. Yeah, and this was his 20th WrestleMania that he competed in. Wow, good for him, man. Just very cool. Yeah, his original attire.
Also,
2002.
Pops already has a card out of Randy Orton RKO and him.
Yeah, that's what he said in the interview. Yeah, that they're gonna release that. So that's very cool. The match itself, not a lot to it. It was barely 3 minutes.
3:12, I want to say.
Yeah, so he comes out. Joe Hendry poses on the apron with the title, his TNA championship. We had the crowd waving in the air. But yeah, not a lot happened here. Randy Orton went for the RKO, but Hendry fought him off with the neck breaker. Hendry stomped the mat, grabbed Orton by the neck, but Orton looked confused, poking him in the eye. That was pretty goofy spot right there. Then Randy Orton hit a draping DDT, set up for the RKO, but Hendry blocked it and hit a fallaway slam. Hendry turned. This is when they had do his famous pose, and the camera zoomed in. That's when Randy Orton flew in out of nowhere, hit the RKO, picked up the quick win. So you're right, barely 3 minutes.
Perfectly.
Yes, absolutely. After the match, Randy Orton picks him up, embraces him, sign of respect, holds his hand up, And then as he's about to walk away, Randy Orton grabs Joe Hendry and does another RKO, second RKO. So, Tim, the big discussion here, obviously, great pop, great moment for the crowd who love Joe Hendry. He's viral success. A lot of people were happy to see him sing along to that song. He's obviously destined WWE bound at some point in the near future.
His contract's up, I want to say, end of the year-ish.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels is pulling him next. Shawn Michaels absolutely 1,000% loves this guy to death.
Absolutely. The thing, though, people are, I guess, being negative, criticizing. It's like you have a TNA world champion lose to Randy Orton in 3 minutes. I would not see squash, because squash I think is much shorter than that. But nonetheless, it's a short match. I mean, Joe Hendry got some offense in, but probably not enough to please some people who think you're a world champion of your promotion. You're the top guy of our company. You should be able to go out there and put on a longer match and put on some more offense, get some more offense in and counters. I have my, ideas or how to counter that, but your thoughts on this discussion?
I can understand people, because the narrative is, they disrespected TNA. Mm-hmm. I can understand where people are coming from with that. I didn't see it like that. And I think it was on Busted Open yesterday or Monday. Mm-hmm. Joe Hendry was like, this match shouldn't have gone any longer than it did. For what it was supposed to be and what it was, we did exactly what we should have. Like, there was nothing else or nothing less or whatever that we should have done. He's like, his match was exactly what it needed to be for what it was supposed to be, now that it was changed from what the original plan. But like, he's cool with it.
And I think there was a separate quote, I'm paraphrasing, it might have been from that same interview. He said, listen, like when Josh Alexander was champion for TNA, his goal was to go out there and put on these incredible banger matches, as they say. Joe Hendry, he feels his job as TNA champion is to get as many eyeballs on their product, on that promotion. And he thinks he's succeeding. Obviously, his time in NXT last year, his appearance in the Royal Rumble this year, and now appearing at WrestleMania, the biggest wrestling show of the year for the biggest company in the world, and specifically night 2. Let's be specific. Night 2, I think more people are watching night 2 compared to night 1. So he is being featured on the biggest show, the biggest day of the year. And he had a match with the legend, 14-time WWE champion, world champion, Randy Orton. You think about how many people in attendance watching, but also everyone watching around the world, seeing this guy walk out with the big TNA championship title around his waist. That's a huge plug, promotion, commercial for TNA as a company. So regardless of the match itself, he did his job just getting as many people or exposing to as many people what TNA is. Who is TNA?
So I found the quote, what he said on Busted Open. He was asked, was this a squash, disrespectful and so forth? And he said, I disagree.
Okay.
The offense was back and forth. Whereas a squash, to me, it could have been ding, ding, RKO. There you go. We're done. Mm-hmm. For me, what I'm thinking about, my different title reigns are definitely defined by different things. When Josh Alexander, like you said, when Josh Alexander was TNA World Champion, it was a classic match after classic match. My job as TNA Champion, and what defines this reign is business and getting as many eyeballs on TNA wrestling as possible. He said, you know who else lost quickly at WrestleMania in a similar fashion? John Cena. All of a sudden, I'm going to say that I'm too good to do that. To me, that's exactly how it should have gone.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing too. And if you want to nitpick, I would say from a kayfabe standpoint, as far as, let's think about it. Randy Orton is the 20-year plus veteran here versus Joe Hendry. Now, Joe Hendry is a world champion, but let's keep in mind he's inexperienced compared to Randy Orton. So in that moment, he's getting a little cocky. He's doing his spin around move instead of focusing on Randy Orton. He's staring at the crowd, doing his pose. And Randy Orton, the veteran that he is, capitalized on that and hit the RKO out of nowhere. So from a kayfabe standpoint, a strategy standpoint, Randy Orton just capitalized on Joe Hendry's inexperience and not focusing on his opponent. So that's my one defense in that moment, and then hit the finisher and got the victory.
He also said, quote, you know what CM Punk told me? We had a great conversation afterwards. CM Punk told me that's exactly how it should have gone. if it had gone any longer, I think it would have actually worked out worse for me. So there's no shame in taking an RKO and losing to a legend like Randy Orton.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
And listen, this partnership with TNA and WWE and NXT specifically has been great for both sides. And I think a lot of stuff can be applied for the AAA talk, which we'll save for later. But I know some people might think, oh, TNA's champion looks weak here. But at the end of the day, how many people saw this like, oh, that guy, he's cool. I want to see more of him. And maybe they're going to tune into TNA more or want to go to a future show that Joe Hendry's advertised to be at. And ever since WWE and TNA have had this partnership, TNA has benefited with larger crowds, more people coming, more tickets are being sold. And you would think it shouldn't happen, but it is. It's working. This partnership's working. And, you know, some people from TNA have been making appearances on NXT throughout the year, and vice versa. People in NXT who maybe are not being used or being underutilized can go to NXT, make an appearance, or do some matches there. So it works both ways. And so this is just another situation where I think WWE is just trying to reinforce the partnership with TNA. So it's a win-win all around for me. Very happy for Joe Hendry. Obviously, if you can't, you should be watching. If you're listening to the audio version, yeah, you need to watch the video version of our podcast. I'm wearing I Believe in Joe Hendry shirt I got earlier this year. And I met him, Stockton Con. Very nice guy. So shout out Joe Hendry. One day, hopefully, we could do an interview with him. So good stuff there. Yeah.
One last thing on the TNA WWE relationship thing. Like, for me, what WWE is really getting out, because a lot of people are like, oh, WWE's not really getting anything out of this. TNA guys are coming here. What I think is very beneficial here is it's helping the NXT talent who have never gone and worked anywhere else now going, okay, I know how WWE works. How's another company work? How is their backstage work? And what can I take from that experience over to WWE? Because I've just been in this machine, kind of hyper-focused here and never seen anything else. So it's actually opening certain people's, like a Tatum Paxley, for instance. He's going to be working with Gigi Dolan on the Rebellion show coming up. Was it this weekend? I think he's on a 4-way for the tag titles, the women's tag titles or knockouts tag titles in TNA. And so it's like you're getting opportunities for these men and women to go wrestle other people, so they're not just in a loop of fighting the same people at the PC and on the Florida loop all the time, and learning how other companies operate to give them more of an experience in the business. So
and
that's just my thing.
Yeah, rest in front of a different crowd, different atmosphere, different setting.
That's huge, the different crowd thing, because you were at the PC. I want to say it's like 90% the same people every week.
Yeah, and unfortunately, sometimes you got some knuckleheads in there who try to take control of the show and hijack the show and say certain things and whatnot. So just to mix up in front of a different audience, get a different response. You can work on your character work in front of a different audience, see what works, see what doesn't work, and then apply that when you get back to WWE. So I get what you're saying. I'm glad you brought that up. No, it's very true. So yes, kudos to Joe Hendry for just an awesome job. Super happy for him to get that. And so what's next though?
He was on TNA this week or NXT this week. So
exactly, that's right. He did show up on NXT as well. So I cannot wait to see more Joe Hendry on my TV screen. All right, next up, Logan Paul taking on AJ Styles. I felt like this is where the show kind of shifted a little bit after the high of Joe Hendry coming out there. Things started shifting here a little bit. I don't know if the crowd was just getting tired. This match itself didn't have like a big moments because Logan Paul is known for like having a big spot or two in his matches. It just felt very flat for me. I know Logan Paul was really focused on this drone he brought to the ring.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This match just seemed kind of flat. What were your thoughts on how this match played out?
Like I mentioned earlier, especially when that Jeff guy, I still don't even really know who he is. That Jeff guy and Karrion Kross and stuff came out. There was a lot of people in the crowd that were like, what's going on? Who's this guy? Why is he here? And I think that's the moment that really took the crowd out of the match. And they were just like,
gotcha.
Okay, what's going on? Because like we've seen him before. We know, like if you watch all of Logan Paul's matches, you know, oh, that's the guy that gives him the brass knucks. Yeah. But if you've never seen one of his PLE matches, maybe only like an Elimination Chamber or like a Raw SmackDown match, then you go, oh, I've never seen this guy before. What is he doing out here? Who is he?
Yeah.
And so I think that, from what I was told by my buddy that was there live, that took people out of the match. And that's when it kind of started to go like, oh, we don't know what's going on now.
And that's the thing. Like Jeff, for the most part, is a nobody to that audience.
Exactly.
versus, other WWE wrestlers, if they have some assistant help them out or some form of assist, someone coming in, it's a fellow wrestler that or recognize. You're like, oh, so and so's helping so and so. That's cool. But you see this random person who does nothing on a regular basis for WWE. You're like, who the hell is that? So you're right. Yeah, it was confusing.
You know who would have got a bigger pop? Kathy Kelly. She's been training at the PC.
Yeah, training.
And they want to maybe use her as a manager.
How pissed off you think Samantha Irvin is?
That was my first thought.
Man, so yeah, no, for Kathy Kelly, if she goes into a manager role, I'm curious who she would represent or like work with. Or
I mean, it would be cool if she did something with Kevin Owens because they had their little backstage stuff and they've done like a kind of pseudo podcast together.
That's right.
I doubt that's who she would work with, but
yeah,
they said that she's done some in-ring training and she's been in promo class.
Interesting. Good for her. So
promo class would also help her if she wants to do acting stuff because we know she tried to do that for a little while.
Yeah, when she was gone for WWE for a while. So, but this match itself, AJ Styles went for that springboard 450. Paul got his knees up and hit AJ in the stomach or hit the Styles Clash and then rolled that into a Styles Clash. As you mentioned, Logan Paul's buddy, Jeff, comes out with the brass knuckles. Karrion Kross appeared out of nowhere, stopped him. I know Karrion Kross, spent a lot of time in Las Vegas, got to start in pro wrestling in Las Vegas. I'm sure he wished he could have been part of the show wrestling in Las Vegas for that crowd. But nonetheless, I'm happy at least he got to do some form of an appearance there, helping out AJ Styles here. So he stops Jeff, grabs the brass knuckles, tried to give it to AJ Styles, but AJ's like, no, I'm not going to use these. I'm not going to cheat. That's been the story. Karrion Kross has been like poking AJ Styles. I like how he keeps calling him by his first name, Alan. Yeah. Alan. But he wants him to, Karrion Kross's MO is everyone he goes after, he's trying to convert them to go bad, go to the dark side, do evil things. So AJ said no, threw the brass knuckle, but ultimately that's what set him up for failure for Logan Paul to capitalize. So AJ tried to go for the phenomenal forearm, but Paul ducked and missed that, and then Paul hit the punch AJ Styles with his kayfabe steel hand, or whatever you want to call it. So and then Logan Paul hit the pulverizer for the win. So I think a lot of people are just, some hardcore WWE fans are maybe a little just tired of Logan Paul. It's like he's a social media guy. I know you and I have talked about this before. He does bring his own audience, his own set of eyeballs, his social media presence gives a lot of exposure for WWE. So I get it why he has a match at WrestleMania versus a regular just member of the roster who might be more deserving, who's been busting their ass for years for WWE. But Karrion Kross here, while he's trying to make AJ go heel or go bad, his MO also here is he doesn't want to see Logan Paul succeed. He's like, dude, you represent all us wrestlers. You need to beat Logan Paul. So that way just shows to everyone that some random viral guy or social media influencer can't come in here and do our job. So what do you think about that kind of storyline they've been trying to tell here?
I found it interesting because he even said, I think he said it in that Sam Roberts post-show thing. Yeah. I wasn't trying to get AJ to go heel. I wanted him to just not allow Logan to win and not give him any momentum or something like that. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one where it's like he doesn't want to see Logan Paul succeed. So he latched onto AJ, who's going to have a match with Logan and whatnot. And then like, oh, that's very interesting. But it's like, okay, so why don't you just do something about it then? Why don't you attack him backstage or something and try to take him out instead of waiting on somebody else to do it, But he's a heel. He's not going to go attack the other heel. Yeah. There's a whole thing. There's things here that I like, but then there's other parts here where I'm just like, it's kind of meh. Like I like the don't let the part-time guy who doesn't deserve to be here be here.
Yeah.
Yet I think it was Heyman that was like, everyone says Paul. Everyone that says no, Cena, I think it was that said Logan Paul was born for this. Logan Paul had to figure out how to get here. Eventually did. And is just as good as basically anybody on the roster.
Listen, Logan Paul, he's a tremendous athlete. I know not a lot of people like him, his personality, what he does outside in his personal life or what he does outside of WWE professionally. I know he's a very polarizing figure. Rightfully so. He's done a lot of weird, crappy things. But nonetheless, he is a tremendous athlete. And what he's done in WWE in that ring is nothing short of amazing for a guy who's been doing this for just barely a couple of years. I guess, first WrestleMania 3 years ago in Texas with The Miz. So what he's accomplished in 3 years, I mean, have a match with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and the spot with Ricochet. You know, he's done a lot of amazing stuff. So he definitely has earned his spot to put on fun matches. So what's next for him? Who knows? He'll probably disappear for a while and probably come back to SummerSlam at that point. For AJ Styles, though, him and Karrion Kross, what's next? That's going to be interesting. Karrion Kross, it's almost like, it's like now or never. I hope creative can think of something for him. I know he has a lot of fans online. He's great at social media, and he's built up a fan base based on that. Now, his actual wrestling, that's a whole nother topic. Ask Adam Cole, legendary promo, calling him out, which, hey, I did ask Adam Cole about that. Watch that interview. Watch his answer in that interview from a couple months ago. But nonetheless, what's next for Karrion Kross? We can, see what's next for them and how AJ plays into that. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting what even AJ Styles' role is gonna be moving forward with WWE, because you look at other veterans who are like 45 plus years old. Triple H doesn't really use them anymore, and a lot of them have left. You look at like Adam Copeland, Bobby Lashley, those type of guys who left the company. It's like there's a shift where I think Triple H is trying to focus on younger guys and build on the future. So AJ Styles, he might be the exception that they still keep using moving forward. So what's AJ Styles' role moving forward? That's gonna be interesting. See what's next for him, especially is he only has this is his last contract, he said, right? If I remember correctly. He
said, that he doesn't think he's gonna sign another deal after this, but
gotcha.
As far as AJ goes, I don't see him winning another world title. But I don't think he really has to. 6 years he's been here in WWE. He's already Hall of Fame bound.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So it's like he came in, super big momentum, and killed it in everything he did. And he can say, hey, I had Undertaker's last match.
And hey, I mean, him and John Cena had a great match years ago. It was at Royal Rumble. Now it's Cena's champion. Maybe AJ and them can run it back, the two of them. So that could be something there. Play the greatest hits for John Cena.
Have Cena go beat some of his better rivals, I guess you would say. And you could say AJ is considered one of Cena's rivals now. Beat up John Cena.
Exactly. All right, next up, second to last match of the night. It's for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. It's Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, at the time champions, defending against Lyra Valkyria and a mystery tag team partner. As the day before, we saw in the pre-show, Bayley, her partner, after they won the gauntlet match on SmackDown, she was taken out. Someone beat her up. Mystery situation here. Who did it? Bayley was taken out, cannot compete. So Lyra had 24 hours on Adam Pearce's word to figure out a new opponent, or excuse me, new tag team partner. And sure enough, it's a returning Becky Lynch coming out to the ring. So we got the Irish connection there. Two ladies from Ireland. I thought that was very cool. Big pop from the crowd seeing Becky Lynch. Now, the match itself,
9 minutes.
Yeah, and they had a rematch the following night on Monday Night Raw. So I know we're already kind of skipping ahead in that aspect. But the match itself was okay. But Becky, Lyra won. So they're tag team champions for 24 hours. And like I said, we'll save the discussion on what happens next on the other episode. But what do you think of this match here?
According to Brian Alvarez, this is a complete Becky Lynch idea. And Triple H ran with it. So he said this was all, Brian Alvarez alluded to, this is all Becky's idea. Lyra's got a match for the tag titles. Then her partner gets taken out. She needs a replacement. And boom, it's Becky. Because their history, it makes sense. Then she turns on Becky. Then Becky eventually turns on her. And we go from there. Now, in my opinion, I think they should have done the turn the same night. They should have lost to Liv and Raquel, and Becky turn on her at Mania. You're not going to get a bigger reaction of that heel turn than at WrestleMania. So why even put the titles on them and take them off of Liv and Raquel, just so you can now say, oh, Liv and Raquel, 4-time champions.
Yeah, it's like they didn't have the belt for 24 hours, and then they're back, 4-time champions. Yeah. I mean, kudos to Liv and Raquel, because they defended Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Yep.
So they had a very busy weekend on top of everything else. They were doing meet and greets and after dark parties at
Oh,
clubs.
yeah. They were out there partying at like 3 a.m.
Kind of dancing on the top of the bar there. So I've seen those videos on Instagram. But
let's stripper dance, basically.
I know. So but the match itself was fine. I think the match on Raw was much better. And so Lyra was technically a double champion for 24 hours. So
Did you watch Bailey's Chris Van Vliet interview?
Parts of it. I've not finished it yet. I don't know when that was recorded beforehand.
Last Thursday. So Bailey talks about, she's asked, you get all these moments, but then also you don't get certain moments. And she's talking about, sometimes I'm not on the poster, or I win the Royal Rumble and I'm not on the press conference afterwards. And she's talking about all these things, and I can't remember verbatim, but like Chris Van Vliet says something about like not getting an opportunity, and she's just like, oh, well, and then she's like, well, things are gonna come out or something like that. And Chris goes, well, what's that supposed to mean? She goes, you'll find out. Basically, like she did, but didn't want to say, yeah, I'm advertised for Mania, but I ain't working the match.
Gotcha.
And then it just talked about her not getting opportunities, her getting pulled from things, her getting overlooked. Also, an interesting thing there. One last thing.
Mm-hmm.
She mentioned twice, I got 1.5 years left on my contract. And she even said, and I'm going to pull up a quote here from Bailey, because this is very telling, that I think she's got it in her mind, at least right now, that she might be done with WWE.
Really?
Because she said, when talking about, things that she has and hasn't gotten, in the Chris Van Vliet episode or interview, Bailey multiple times came off like she may have in her head that she's done with WWE. She said, quote, I only have 1.5 years left multiple times. Also stating, quote, I don't want to spend my time, especially my last few years here, being upset.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know after she was taken out, wasn't Mercedes Moné tweeted out like, "Hey, call me, girl," because we were like best friends.
It was like a point emoji, a phone, and then like a emoji. Money eyes thing. Yeah. She also said that her goal is to open a wrestling school.
Bailey is? Okay.
Yeah. And she said that I don't know, but she also said that she would love to do it while she's still active, kind of like Sean Spears, because that way, that person's on TV. I want to go train with them. Not, that's Bailey who used to be on TV.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's more appealing, like someone who's active. I mean, Seth Rollins has a school too.
So I don't know where she would do it, whether that's because I don't know if she still lives in Austin, Texas or not. Unless she does one in the Bay Area.
That'd be cool in the Bay Area. But yeah, I think she posts stuff like on Instagram, but you don't know the location, but sometimes it looks like she's in Texas. So.
I want to read you a message I got from Nick really fast. You'll love this one. It's about big time wrestling and Kirk White.
Okay.
So Nick was watching WrestleMania. Well, I guess his dad was paying attention.
Okay.
And I got to find this message now because you'll appreciate this.
Okay.
He said, I just had it. Where did it go?
Love big time wrestling.
Right.
They had a show out there in Vegas, so very happy for them.
He said, I just turned it on for some reason. No, never mind. That's not. Here he goes, bro. I'm like, what? He goes, my dad just told me AJ Styles used to pull up to the softball games with Kirk White of BTW, and my dad would make fun of him being small in his size.
Oh, talking about AJ Styles?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So when AJ would be in the Bay Area with Kirk, he'd show up to the softball games because Nick's dad and Kirk were on I don't know if they're on the same team or in the same softball league.
No way. Oh, small world. I gotta tell.
He said, yeah, LOL. My dad goes, that's that Styles guy.
Which I've seen AJ Styles wrestle at Big Time Wrestling years ago, and Abyss was there. So they used to get TNA guys out there back in the day. So yeah, I've seen AJ Styles wrestle at the New York Pavilion back in the day. That was very cool. Okay. I will tell them about that. Tell his wife and daughter about that. So that's very cool. But the match itself, like I said, it served as, I guess, its purpose for the heel turn for Becky Lynch on Monday Night Raw, which we could talk more. I mean, talk a little bit here, maybe save a bigger discussion. I just wonder if turning Becky heel is just to give more heels. As I mentioned earlier, like turning Bianca heel might be a good thing because they got a lot of baby faces on Raw in the women's division. So maybe build up some strong heel opponents. because I think they're a little thin right now. So if you get Bianca and Becky as heels, that's some great like main event type matches.
And I don't need Becky with Seth Heyman and Braun Breaker.
Oh, I know some people are saying like, could she be like the Medusa of this new Dangerous Alliance type thing?
Oh, did you see Medusa's tweet about that?
No, what'd she say?
So someone was like, could Becky Lynch become the first Paul Heyman girl? And Medusa, I want to find the tweet. She said something like, you might need to go back and look at your history.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, Medusa's a legend. So if you don't know the Dangerous Alliance, you need to do your research.
Yep.
One of the greatest War Games matches all time was the 92 one, I think, with the Dangerous Alliance match. That was cool.
Yeah, she's technically the first Paul and technically the only Paul Heyman girl.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. So that's the thing. Is they win here. You're right. I think it would have been more impactful if they actually lost. Becky does the heel turn and set something up. It's going to be interesting what they're going to use with Becky. Because, yes, I do feel bad for Bayley. I do want to stress that. It sucks. Like, everyone assumes she's going to wrestle and then they create this angle. So I wonder if Bayley knew all along that she was never going to wrestle.
That's the word, is that the plan all along was Becky came up with the idea of Lyra's going to be in the match. She needs a partner because her partner gets taken out. We have history. I team with her.
Okay. So I just feel bad for Bayley, but I do give her credit for being a professional and going along with this. So, but what's next though for Bayley? I mean, hell, Bayley versus Becky. But that's the thing. Maybe we don't know who took out Bayley. Maybe Becky was the one. Now that she's a heel, maybe she's the one who took out Bayley. So maybe that could be a great feud of two or half of the four horsewomen, Bayley versus Becky. Because I don't think, have they had really a clear rivalry between the two?
Bayley and Becky? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's always been, like Bayley, Sasha, Becky, Charlotte. I don't think Bayley and Becky have had a proper feud. So this could be really great. I mean, hell, that's a WrestleMania match right there. So maybe they can build that up. So, or hell, SummerSlam or something. So that'd be cool. So if Bayley is a babyface, Becky is the heel, that could be a really fun program. And that's the thing too, for some of these men and women, these veterans who've been around for a long time, who've accomplished everything that you can as far as titles goes and other accolades, you got to think of more compelling new stories for them. So this could be a fun story to tell away from the title picture, if that makes sense. So I don't remember the storyline going into this, but I'm looking at Cage Match, and it says they had a steel cage match in February of 23 on Raw. Oh, that's right.
And then they were on opposite sides of the 2023 Women's War Games match as well.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, there's that too. But it's been a minute. So one-on-one then. So it'll appear fresh again. So, but yeah, like I said, so Lyra and Becky Lynch pick up the win, celebrate together. It was short term. So we'll talk more about that Raw after Mania. All right. Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out with the ATV, goes around the ring multiple times, speeding, crashes into the wall. The woman that was right there had a delayed reaction, then fell back, looked pissed off. Stone Cold's trying to check on her and say something to her. He gets in the ring. He's got to do his job. Nick Khan comes up walking over, talking to her. Steve Austin comes out to announce the attendance. Sold out crowd, 63,226, which is interesting. Shawn Michaels the night before said it was sold out at 61,000. So it's always a sellout. But and then Stone Cold starts pounding some beers, walks up the ramp. Tim, you shared a great footage. It looks like from the woman's phone that got knocked over.
Apparently it's the person. I found out it's not the woman, but it's the person standing right next to the woman.
The older guy with the orange shirt.
I guess. I don't know exactly, but I was told that's not the woman.
Okay.
But it's the person standing next to her. Does she become the new green shirt guy in the front row? Well, no, because apparently I just found this out.
What's that?
Apparently green shirt guy was the guy that CM Punk assaulted in the crowd years ago. The guy that Punk thought hit him in the back of the head and he turned around and smacked him or whatever and broke his glasses.
No way.
That's green shirt guy.
No way.
So now my question is, and this is me purely speculating, did they say free tickets front row for life?
Oh my God. Really? That
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah, the incident where CM Punk, hit the fan.
Where
that was like
someone hit him in the back of the head. Yeah, it was 2013.
Wow.
He thought someone hit him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
But it was a random arm that came up. He turned around. That's the only guy standing there, and he boom smacks him. The guy wasn't hurt, but it broke his glasses.
Is this on YouTube? Can I look on YouTube?
I can send it right to you on Instagram. I just found it on Instagram.
Okay, go ahead. Send it to me. Send it to me. So that's incredible. So instead of suing, they promise him free tickets for life.
I assume. I don't know. How do you want me to send it to you? Text message?
Yeah. Or if you want to DM me on Instagram.
Gotcha.
That is incredible. Oh my God. That's man. Okay.
I'm sending it right now.
Okay.
Instagram and computer sometimes runs a little slow.
Gotcha. All good.
I should send.
Okay. Let me see.
It was in Sacramento too.
That's right. Okay, let me turn the audio down.
Yeah, there's a whole news story from Sacramento News.
Oh my goodness. Oh, because he doesn't have he has a smaller goatee there.
Mm-hmm. But it's the same guy.
God, 12 years. So 12 years ago. So he's younger, a little bit skinnier.
That's why I'm asking, is that how he gets that perfect seat every time? At every big show?
That's wow. I don't know. Let me ask you this. What would you rather have? Would you rather have that amazing seat every time?
Hey, he got a Mania entrance with Wade Barrett coming down the ramp this year. Did you not notice that?
Well, I saw the photo of him at the doing the timekeeper stuff.
Oh, I don't know about that, but when Wade Barrett was coming out for night 2 to call the show, him and like some other guy or whatever walked down the ramp with Wade Barrett.
Oh my God. Yeah. So instead of suing for like millions of dollars or whatever, get tickets. That's an interesting question. What would you rather have? Would you rather have amazing tickets for life or get a big payday? I'm curious.
I would say the tickets, because you don't know what the judge is going to rule.
Yeah.
You don't know what kind of judge you're going to get. If the judge is going to be in favor of you, not in favor of you, half in favor of you. But if they say tickets for life front row,
lawyer fees too. You got to pay for. And then the other thing too, I wonder, does he still have to pay for his own airfare and hotel for that stuff?
I would assume that probably, but it's like, and again, this is just speculation. I don't know, but yeah, that's the guy.
And then you think about it, then he's building up his Instagram following now, posting all these amazing photos and videos from his seat now. So he's becoming a little influencer now in the wrestling community as well. So that might be worth it. You build up your wrestling Instagram page and you create all these new amazing experiences. You're front row for all these legendary moments now from these legendary shows, epic shows. So I think I might do the same thing. So I don't blame him. Good for him. So, So the lady had delayed reaction, fell back. In all seriousness, I hope she's okay. No serious injuries or anything. Stone Cold. I mean, I think that's the last time we'll ever see Stone Cold with an ATV at a WWE show going around in hella fast around the ring.
I think I said this yesterday or on the last podcast, but I'm like, hey, at least he chugged them 6 beers after this happened and not before on camera.
Exactly. So, I can't charge him with DUI. He was drinking afterwards.
Well, no, because I'm just saying, if she were to sue, that's not in favor of the company.
I know, exactly. So I know Nick Khan ran over to check on her and
quick.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. So I hope she's okay. Everything's okay. But so she might be sitting next to Green Shirt guy moving forward. So, but then again, she was able to afford those seats, that front row seat right there. Man, she probably can afford a really good lawyer too. So who knows? But it might be more fun. If I was her, take the tickets and have amazing experiences moving forward. So we'll see what happens there. I'm sure there'll be some more fallout from that at some point. All right, main event time. Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed WWE Championship against John Cena. John Cena's gone heel. Let's just say what everyone's been saying. The match was okay. It was very slow pace. It left a lot to be desired as far as this epic main event of night 2. It was very underwhelming. It was very slow paced, methodical, I guess you could say. Each guy was trying to do their finishers, and then they were doing the other guy's finisher on each other. It just was very slow and just, I don't say boring is the word, but I think a lot of people expected a better match here. So I don't know your thoughts on just this match here.
So the match starts and we get about 5 to 8 minutes in and it's slow. And I go, oh, they're going long. because I thought they're going slow now because they're going long. They're going to go 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And, the main event from the night before went 32. The last match here, the women's tag title match was shorter, 8 minutes, 9 minutes. So I'm like, okay, they're getting time. Cena doesn't want to tire himself out. Cody knows and then it goes 21 minutes.
Yeah. So,
and nothing happens. Like literally, like my notes are kind of scarce for this match because it's like nothing happens.
Whoa.
Travis Scott comes out and like with that $1,200 replica belt.
That's a $1,200 replica
on shop.
Hardcore.
That belt you buy on shop for $1,200. Like,
oh my God.
What? Yeah.
And Travis Scott, so he played Coachella the day before and then just came up to Vegas right after.
Oh, did he? I don't know. I know that day he did an appearance at World and then he was at Mania.
I know he was at Coachella as well. He was advertised for Coachella.
Okay, that I didn't know. But
so and Coachella is in India, which is like Palm Springs. So it's like in the desert. So it's not too private jet from there to Vegas, no problem.
At Green Day, they main evented one night.
Absolutely. They headline the last 2 Saturdays. So Coachella is 2 weekends in a row for
okay.
Coachella is back-to-back weekends now.
Oh, I only thought it was one. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, they expanded to 2 weekends, same lineup each weekend a few years ago. So Green Day. But the Green Day's great. They did 2 different set lists or changed it up a little bit. So different experience each time.
Nice. But no, the whole Travis Scott thing. The worst part about this, Rock is on McAfee going, I didn't even know Travis was going to be there.
Yeah, well, let's talk about this finish here because Travis Scott comes walking out after his music hits. He's walking so slow, damn slow to the rings. Like, come on, speed it up. Cena's laughing. He's trying to, I think, stall. Yeah. Because right before that, we saw the exposed turnbuckle Cena got, and he sent Cody into it. So, and then Cena hit a 4th AA for a near fall on Cody. So Travis Scott's walking down. He finally gets down there, hugs John Cena. They tried to double team Cody Rhodes, but Cody Rhodes was able to chase Travis Scott off the apron. And then, let's see, he hit John Cena with a crossroads. Travis Scott yanked the referee out before he can count to 3. Cody Rhodes called Travis Scott back into the ring. Travis Scott walked in, and then Travis Scott tried to slap Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes ducked, grabbed him, hit him in the crossroads. So he got his receipt for when Travis Scott hit Cody Rhodes in the face at Elimination Chamber.
Did he really though? Because my buddy goes, I don't think Cody got a real receipt there. Travis Scott was up and dancing about 30 seconds later.
True. So you're right. So then John Cena tried to use the title belt as a weapon, but then him and Cody had a little tug of war. Cody yanked it away. And then
Cody looked like a geek.
I know. Come on, we know tug of wars for a title belt do not look good. Look at Roman Reigns.
Not even that.
Brock Lesnar.
He just threw the belt down and didn't use it. Now, if I want to fantasy book this, Cody needs to come out because everyone said Cody looked dumb for not using the belt. Cody should have. Yeah. What I'm saying, if I'm booking this, Cody comes out and goes, I couldn't do it. My daughter was in the front row. You really think I want her to see her dad act like that?
Yeah.
That's how he can rectify it.
Totally. So let's see. Cody Rhodes threatened to use it, but Cena begged him not to. Cody Rhodes fell for it. And then John Cena kicked Cody Rhodes in the balls. And then John Cena hit Cody Rhodes with the title belt. The ref rolled back into the ring and John Cena pinned Cody Rhodes for the win. And John Cena is now a 17-time world champion in WWE. Has broken Ric Flair's record now. And
Ish,
yes, true. Michael Cole, was trying to say John Cena's the greatest of all time now. No debate. Fireworks go off. John Cena's posing, and the big number 17 on the screen. What do you think of John Cena's entrance? It was like black and white. He's like moping to the ring, walking slow. Just the presentation of him there. I guess he really is trying to ruin wrestling.
Well, yeah, it was the whole I'm not going to afford the fans with a cool, big John Cena WrestleMania entrance. They don't deserve it.
And then
it wasn't. I saw some fans online going, he got an NWO entrance. No, it wasn't. There was no NWO. It didn't go black and white. The screen did not go black and white.
Well, let's think about the match itself. Very slow pace. You think John Cena is really trying to show he wants to ruin wrestling by putting on a bad match? like I'm just trying to think what's going on here.
Again, as we talked about before, it's not the match that they were originally going to do.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. So let's be honest here. Everyone's talking about the last few days. This match sucked because when Travis Scott came out, everyone assumed that was a sign that The Rock was right behind him. It was going to come out at some point right after that. The Rock did not show up at all. Everyone was bummed out. Maybe the only highlight there was Cody Rhodes putting Travis Scott in the crossroads. So, like I said, getting that receipt from getting punched in the face by him at Elimination Chamber. But other than that, it was so underwhelming. And Travis Scott's moving so slow, and he's a small guy. He's skinny, much smaller compared to Cody Rhodes. And
he was so small that when Cody put him in the crossroads, you see all the gap in Cody's arm right here.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like
Cody could barely hold him up.
Yes, I mean, that's the thing. Travis Scott does not look like a threat to Cody Rhodes. So that was just the funny part there. And then I guess from a kayfabe standpoint, I was trying to think, okay, The Rock didn't show up. Okay, kayfabe, we know Travis Scott and The Rock are aligned. So maybe kayfabe standpoint, The Rock the final boss sent Travis Scott out there to represent him and do his dirty work.
But you can't even say that because The Rock, what he said on McAfee.
I know.
He literally said on McAfee, he said, I was given all the finishes beforehand, but I wasn't told how we're getting to the finish of each match. So he knew the results. And then said, I was shocked when Travis came out. I didn't know he was going to be there. But then I knew that would amplify all he said, in that moment, I knew that amplified all the fans in thinking I'm coming out when I wasn't even there.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll tell you what. I know we're going about an hour and a half here already on this episode. Let's save that discussion at The Rock's appearance on Pat McAfee on the next episode, because the quotes he said and just it leads to the discussion of like, is there a dispute over creative with Triple H and all these conspiracy theories now? What's going on behind the scenes?
I'll just tease it a little bit. Coachman had a really good theory.
Okay. So no, the match it just sucked. It was just unfortunate.
Yeah.
And you hate to see the last match of night 2, the main event of night 2, under-deliver, lackluster, because then it really just dampers the whole weekend. Because you think it's a great weekend, a lot of great matches, moments, experience for the fans. It's the biggest show of the year. And so for them to end on a wet fart, no pun intended, so it just sucks.
Worst main event since the last New Orleans with Brock and Roman?
I was there for that one. Was that 34?
Yeah, and I know people
no, excuse me. That was 30. No, 30.
34, I want to say. Was it?
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. That's right. 31 is Santa Clara, 2015, and then 2018 was New Orleans. That's right. You're right.
And like I know people were leaving before the match ended.
Is that when Brock Lesnar won and then threw the belt at Vince in gorilla position?
I believe so, yeah.
Wow. So it's right up there 7 years later. So no, the match is just underwhelming and just okay. I know this could lead a bigger discussion with The Rock's comments and stuff and what could have really happened if The Rock did show up. Yeah, it just sucked. It was underwhelming that The Rock didn't get there. Fans were left, I think, upset that The Rock didn't show up. And you have this big angle from Elimination Chamber that never had a payoff. And like I said, that's a bigger discussion.
They were selling a shirt that said, finally, The Rock comes back to Las Vegas.
Yep. You're right. I know. Yep.
But hey, Dave Meltzer said it in October. Rock's not working Mania.
Wow. So
now everyone go say sorry to Dave when you said Dave don't know anything.
Yep, you're right. So all right, well, okay. So next podcast we will talk Raw after Mania, WWE acquiring AAA, The Rock's appearance on Pat McAfee and his comments there of what happened from his perspective with WrestleMania, and a lot of fun stuff to break down there, and of course Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman's alignment. It's growing now already, as we saw at Raw after Mania. Heel turn from Becky Lynch. We'll get into all that stuff next episode. So please, if you're watching this, give this a thumbs up, all that good stuff. Tim, where can the Kliqsters find you online?
You can find most of my work at Pro Wrestling Unlimited, whether that's youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, Instagram.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, or on Twitch and Twitter at PW Unlimited. You can also find my personal stuff at Timmy Buddy.
And I'm Baby Huey. Follow me on Facebook at Baby Huey Official, Twitter and Instagram at Baby Huey83. For everything else, at In The Kliq. And remember, Kliq is spelled Kliq. InTheKliq@gmail.com. Please subscribe wherever you get your podcast at. If you're watching this on YouTube, please give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. What was your favorite moment from night 2 of WrestleMania? What was your least favorite moment from WrestleMania? Any other thoughts to WrestleMania overall? Leave it down below. Share the podcast. And like I said, give all the other videos a thumbs up. If you're listening to this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, give this a 5-star rating as well. That helps out in so many ways. And yeah, interact with us on social media as well. We're posting clips online on social media as well. So all the engagement, I'm just begging for the engagement, and it's free to do. It is free. It's free. It takes less than 5 seconds to hit a thumbs up or a heart button. So all that stuff helps. So on that note, let's go home. And that's the bottom line, because Huey said so.